New research has come to light that shows that every form of contraception does increase a woman's risk of getting breast cancer in her lifetime by up to 25%. Now, that's a really scary headline, and I've had lots of women message me panicking, what do I do about contraception? What do I tell my daughter to do? Well, I don't want you to panic. The risk is actually really small, and what I'm going to do is explain what that study showed so you can make an informed choice. I'm Dr. Liz O'Riordan. I'm a consultant breast surgeon who's had breast cancer twice, so I understand the fears about what might cause breast cancer and what it means to you. We've known for a long time that the combined contraceptive pill that contains both estrogen and progesterone does increase a woman's risk of breast cancer, and that risk can last for several years after she stopped taking the pill. But contraceptive methods have changed, and over the last 10 years, more and more women are being given progesterone-only contraception, either as a pill, an implant, or the coil. And they wanted to see whether breast cancer risk increased using progesterone-only contraception. They looked at almost 30,000 women over a long period of time to see whether those who got breast cancer were more likely to take progesterone-only contraception. And the simple answer is yes. The relative risk of getting breast cancer if you took the progesterone-only coil, pill, implant was increased by 25%. But that's where we need to stop and break things down. Your actual risk of getting breast cancer is very, very small when you are young, because breast cancer is a disease of elderly women. I know it can seem like lots of young women are getting breast cancer, but that's because they're on social media. Like me, they're sharing their stories on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. Most women with breast cancer are diagnosed over the age of 50, and it's unlikely that your granny or your aunt are sharing their stories online. When you are 20, your risk of getting breast cancer is less than 1 in 1,000. When you are 40, your risk increases to 1 in 65 women. When you're 90, your risk is 1 in 2. Breast cancer happens because of random changes in your genetic makeup, and if they happen in the right order at the right time, a breast cancer will develop. That's why it's more common in older people. Studies have looked at large groups of women and shown that we think breast cancer is linked to your hormone exposure in your lifetime. Women who get pregnant and who breastfeed are less likely to get breast cancer because they haven't had regular periods for the length of time they were pregnant. But pregnant women still get breast cancer. There's nothing to say that one particular thing can cause it. So let's go back to that study. If you are 20, your risk of getting breast cancer is 1 in 1,000. If you use progesterone-only contraception for 5 years, your increased risk in the next 15 years goes up by 8 in 100,000 women. It's tiny. That's like 1/100th of an extra woman diagnosed. It's really, really small. The older you are, the greater the impact, because your risk of getting breast cancer goes up, but it's still really, really small. And this is the thing, contraception is important. The risks of having an unwanted pregnancy are huge, both physically and mentally. The risks of being pregnant can be tough. People can get blood clots and diabetes and high blood pressure. It's not a simple thing to do. Plus, a lot of women are given contraception to help with things like painful, heavy periods or acne or migraines. Contraception is a good thing, and the impact it has on your risk of getting breast cancer is really, really small. If you are worried about your risk of getting breast cancer, there are other things that you can do. We know that alcohol also increases your risk of getting breast cancer by 20%. That's the same amount as the coil or the pill could do, but it's easier to stop drinking or to drink less than it is to stop having contraception and deal with any consequences. The same goes with exercising regularly or watching your weight. They can both reduce your risk of breast cancer. So although the study is scary and it makes a great headline, a 25% increase in breast cancer if you use the pill, oh my goodness, for you, that risk is still really, really small. And I don't think anyone should use the risk of breast cancer as a reason not to use contraception. Now, a caveat to this is women with a high risk of getting breast cancer. those who have the BRCA1 or BRCA2 gene or a very strong family history. The researchers didn't look at women with that background, so we don't know what the risk is. And if that is you, you might have to talk to your GP, your gynecologist, just to get advice as to what is the best contraception for you. Because at the moment, I don't think the evidence is out there. I hope that's helped. If you have any other questions on this topic, I hope that's helped. If you've got any other questions on this topic, please let me know. I'd be delighted to answer them for you. And if this was helpful, like, share, subscribe to my channel so you get next week's video. Hey GoPro, stop recording.